Blog Talk Radio.
Every author has that one story that hits close to home for them. This is Yvonne Mason's.
This book is very personal to me.
The 50s has been idealized as a time of prosperity and growth for some. Those with mental and physical challenges often faced scorn and ridicule, and were destined to be left in so-called hospitals to wither and die. Dreamcatcher, Failure Was Never an Option, is the uplifting story of a man named Stan and his family's courage to defy the odds and succeed in an era where no merit was seen in the challenged.
It is the true story of my brother who was mentally and physically challenged. It is because of my brother Stan that I am a successful author.
Dreamcatcher, Failure Was Never an Option is available through Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wednesday night. This is Off the Chain. I am your host, Yvonne Mason. And yes, I am guilty. That was a piece of shameless promotion done by my friend and ad man, Chris Dunham. And if you're looking for ads or looking to sponsor a radio show, contact him. He's on my Facebook page. The man's amazing. And that book is about my brother who is mentally and physically challenged, and he is the reason I am successful, and he gets all of the credit for it because without him, I would not be where I am today. That being said, I have waited for 2 months for this show, 2 solid months, because the beautiful woman that I have on this show is going to teach us. So y'all need to listen and learn things. Dr. Amicitia, Cita for short, Maloon Gibson. She is fantastic. First of all, I want to thank her for her service because she is a veteran. And all of you who listen to my show understand how I feel about my veterans. I love them, I respect them, and I honor them. Because of them, I get to do a show. You get to walk free on the streets and do as you will. So honor your veterans. But Dr. Gibson is an amazing woman because she is going to teach us how to do leadership structure, communication tools, how to inspire and motivate teams, diversity and inclusion, increased productivity, and our passion is to develop strategies for all of those who have a drive to succeed in mastering their business, their careers, their life, and surprise of all surprises, relationships, because it is very important to feel empowered in relationships, because when we feel empowered, we empower others. Good evening, Cita. How are you, my dear?
Good evening, Yvonne Mason. Thank you so much. And I know it's been a while since you asked me to do this, but I had to reset and reschedule things, and I am so glad to be here. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to share information. I'm not sure we're going to have enough time to do all what you said.
Well,
but
what
I
did...
do hope that I inspire and empower and probably share some key tips with our audience tonight.
What I didn't get to ask you before the show, and I didn't mean to talk over you, but I got so excited, is I want you to come back because I agree, one show won't do it all.
Thank you.
Before we get started on all of this wonderful stuff that I'm just biting at the bit because I believe in empowering ourselves. That was one of the struggles that I had as a young person and a child, is I never felt like I was empowered. Explain, and before I forget, I'm thanking you personally for your service.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. I volunteered, and I was honored. I feel honored that I had the ability to serve.
What made you go in this direction? Was it something that you thought of as a child? Was it something that you garnered in your military career? Or are you just born? Were you just born empowered?
Well, I think I don't think anyone is really born empowered. But to go back, I think there is a unique process in each and every one of us that we have attained through our socialization process and through the various stages of the adult learning and growing process. And just to be, so that everyone would be on the same sheet, our listeners, when we talk about empowerment, we're talking about the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's right. You know, the authority to empower or give power to someone to do something. So empowerment is all about doing something. And I would say my journey on empowerment started actually throughout my socialization process. You know, I started out in parochial schools. I went to private schools, and I actually was a leader from, I would say, the age of 6. I was a brownie. You know, I don't know if some people, they call them daisies now, but I was a brownie. And I went all the way up through the process of being a leader within the Girl Scouts and to a senior, and then have been volunteered as a Girl Scout leader myself. But I think most of it expanded and grew throughout my military career when I was seeking a mentor or seeking leaders to help me, and I couldn't find a leader that looked like me, sound like me, track like me. Most of my mentors were males when I was in the military, and they were Caucasian males because at that time I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with any other ethnicity. I was always the one lady, the one woman, the one African American that called me the other because I'm from the Virgin Islands and I had the accent. But I didn't let that stop me. I read more, I strived more, I worked harder. You know, instead of having 1 degree, I got 2, then I got 3, then I got 4. Instead of just being in one track, I would go and volunteer in organization, nonprofit organization, so I could get experience to close what I call the leadership gap or the leadership lapse at that time. So is one born with empowerment? I said no, they're not born empowered, but it's a process that they have to pursue themselves and they attain over a period of time. The word empowerment is thrown around a whole lot, but I am the empowerment doc, you know. So, and empowerment is a word that everyone should use in their vocabulary. Everyone should try to empower themselves to be better.
How would one go about doing that? All right, I'm going to throw myself out there as an example. When I was younger, I never felt like I was good enough. I never felt like I could succeed at anything because I always had negativity in my life. My teachers always said, poor little Yvonne, she's doing the best she can. Well, Yvonne was a lot brighter than everybody thought I was or gave any indication that I was, and instead of encouraging those things that I did well, they inhibited them, and in doing that, retarded even further the things I didn't do as well, like math. Math was never my friend.
Right.
But writing and reading was.
Well, I would say this when like I said, it all begins the way you are socialized or your upbringing, the part of your upbringing. I had parents that were very strict and very much profound and pushing education. My dad went to the ninth grade, but ninth grade back in that time, was like 4 years of college. He had a vocabulary that was unbelievable. He was very smart and intelligent, and the same with my mom. My mom, she finished her high school when one of my sisters, one of my older sisters, they both graduated the same year. But our parents stressed education, and that stemmed from their socialization process. My grandmother was a principal and a teacher for over 40 years in the Virgin Islands. My aunt, Amy, she was a teacher for over 40 years in the islands. And, they thought I was going to be a teacher, and I didn't want to be a teacher. So when I first came into the military, my first career was as a nurse, as a practical nurse. And then as time went on, I realized that I had that desire. It was my purpose and it was my passion. As I learned more, as I read more, as I stayed around people more, as I networked, it was a passion of mine. I need to help others, because empowerment, 25, 30 years ago wasn't a word that was thrown around. They were telling women in the time when I came in the military that we shouldn't even be in the military, and they separated us. Women were separated. I am the last iteration of what was called the Women's Army Corps. That last batch. The women were trained separately and the men were trained separately, and it wasn't until about a year after I came into the service that they integrated the basic training and the other functional areas of training. So it's all about, like I said, it's all about your upbringing. Now, today when I volunteer or I mentor, coach, or teach younger kids or adults or leaders, it's all about empowering them even more and showing them how they can empower themselves. I read a book by Harvey Coleman. I believe it's called Empowering the Self. And he talked about how he empowered himself and moved up the ladder in corporate America in a Ford company. And when he got to that glass ceiling that he couldn't go anymore, then he empowered himself to break off from the company where he was at and start his own company. So it's all, and you have to have that calling, that niche, that purpose that that you will do what you have to do anytime, even if you're not getting paid. It's not about getting paid. It's about making a difference. It's about impacting people. It's about helping others to succeed. I am part of the boomer generation. The boomer generation was all about getting, because some of us didn't have. Our parents didn't have. They tried to give us the best that they had. And in the boomer generation, it was all about getting, and we were loyal to our jobs. We would go in a company like the Army and stay for 30, 29, 30, 40 years. But the millennials now, that's a different mindset, but they have different options. They could stay in a job for 60 days, leave, and get another job. They could stay in a job for 2 years or 2 months. They have a different mindset, and they're different skill sets that are required now that they can empower themselves. They don't really have to go to college, but, I recommend, if they're out there listening, do go to college, because I made my kids go to college, and they were successful. And it's all about how you speak to individuals, and I like to say, as a man or woman speaketh, so is he. So for me, I have daily affirmations. When I get up in the morning, I start with affirmations. Before I go to bed, I get my thoughts together, and most of the time, not all of the time, I write down what I'm going to do for the next day. I have to.
I understand that. I do too. Or I forget half of it. But let me ask you this. I overcame my confidence and learned to empower myself, because one day I woke up and I figured out that it was okay to fail. And when I figured it was okay to fail, I became so empowered that nothing could stop me. Would that be a good way to think?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's a unique way to think, and I always tell people, failure. I have a product. It's called Stepping Stones to Success. It's a book that I co-authored with some popular authors like Jack Canfield, and he and myself and others will let you know in that book that failure is sometimes a stepping stone to your success, because when you fail, you have nowhere else to go but up. So you re-strategize. You set those specific goals and objectives that want to take you to your next level. You look at different standards. You set schedules. You set milestones. In engineering, I used to call it critical paths. You set, you're innovative about what type of business you're going to go into, what type of market, what type of customers you want to attract, whether you want to attract, if you're writing children's books or adults books or relationship books or books on empowerment for women like I do. I do myself. So you have the bottom line is when you fail, that's when you have a stepping stone to move upward. And for me, that's when I think I became unstoppable. And when I say unstoppable, I took a sabbatical for a year because I always tell people you can't help others when you're not in a healthy phase. So you have to get yourself together in order to be able to help others. And my tagline is, growing and empowering future leaders now for extraordinary success. But my brand is inspire, lead, and grow.
And that is an excellent path to take or roadmap for others, because in order to inspire others, you have to inspire yourself. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes, and in order for me to inspire others, I have to have a plethora of credentials behind me and experience, and, I didn't just become the empowerment doc last year or year before. I didn't just throw that out there and say, oh, I'm going to be the empowerment doc. I'm going to inspire, lead, and grow people right now. That was something I thought about, and that was something that evolves. I had I built academy around that, and I had to have had the experience. When you look at my background, I work in several agencies within Department of Defense, not only as a military person, but also as a civilian, as an executive. And I've worked on corporate boards. So when you want somebody to inspire you, to lead you, and to grow you, you would want to look at how are you going to inspire me if you're still working on yourself. And when I say working on yourself, if you just graduate from high school or you just graduate from college, yes, you can inspire some people. But I think when we're talking about inspiring at the next level, at the executive level, I have to have a pedigree that shows that I can do that. I've had to have the jobs, the position, the experience, the education, the clients that can, say that I do. And not all clients want you to know that you work with them. That's why I always have my clients sign a confidentiality statement, and so that they will feel comfortable when they work with MGA-Professional Development Institute, to know that I'm not going to put their name out there and say, okay, this was my client, blah, 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 blah. You have to have a confidentiality statement so that some people will feel comfortable with working with you.
So would it be a fair statement, as the kids used to say, I don't know if they say it so much now, but they used to say, you can't talk the talk unless you've walked the walk?
I think that would be what I am results driven, and when I say I have a team of other people that work with me. I am the founder and the CGO, but I do have a team of individuals throughout the United States that work with me, and most of our engagements are still within the federal government, and we've had engagements in corporate America, and some of them are listed on the website. I list the agencies that are on the website, and I say that is still good. You have to be able to walk the talk. You can't be an effective leader unless you're a good follower. And I was a good follower. I follow instructions. You know, the military and the federal and state governments are very structured, and they're very systematic. So you have to have a system that you can follow, and sometimes all the systems don't work in specific agencies. I can't create a system for you that may work for someone else, you know, because when we start working with individuals, we work with assessment tools. You know, we have several people that are DIS certified and Myers-Briggs certified like myself, and we work with individuals by going into the organizations or having the client take an assessment. That's part of working with individuals. Take an assessment so we can identify where they are at the time.
On that same topic, more or less, how would you help someone? You know, for several years, we went through a period of corporate America was laying people off like the flood. How would you help someone get past losing their job and pulling themselves up by their bootstraps and going back out there and looking for another job?
Well, that has happened to a lot of us. A lot of the baby boomers, you know, the baby boomer generation, they are working.
Of which I am one of them.
And I am one too. Welcome to the club. and
it's a nice
lot of
club.
us have retired once or twice. I'm retired twice, and I thank God for that. I give him praise for that all the time. And that's why I decided, when I decided to retire for the second time in 2011, I decided then that I want to become a full-time speaker and an executive consultant, helping others to move into executive positions. I am not here to fix your resume. I'm here to make sure you're empowered with the right skill sets and get you to the interview. But when you get to the interview, you have to be able to perform on your own. And that's what we call, a lot of people call that peak performance. And you can only be a peak performance expert if you have had the peak performance expertise, working in HR. I worked in HR for a few years, and I am a current member of SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management. I was a PHR at the time when I was working in HR. It's not required for me now because that's not my primary position. However, individuals have to go through a total reassessment. Find out what they really want to do. Do you want to work in an area that you hate and get paid, or do you want to work in an area that you do get paid that you like? And sometimes that requires you to step back to move up. You may be making $80,000, $90,000. You may have to step back to $50,000 to get into a career track that in 2 or 3 years would move you back up to your $80,000 level. But you will be able to enjoy what you're doing instead of working in a job that you hate to go to every day.
What about?
And I have a tool at the end. It's called a leadership assessment tool. It's very brief, but I like to tell people, just answer those basic questions. I'll give you the number, and they can just download it and take the assessment. And if they feel like they would like to work with us, they can just, go to the website and follow the instructions, and we'll get in contact. My assistant, she'll get in contact with you to schedule an appointment.
On one of your pages, I saw a topic called De-Stress for Success. Now, in this day and age, we live in a society that I think children are born stressed. For some reason, we think we're not successful unless we're stressed out all the time. And I almost found out too late that you don't have to be stressed to be successful.
No, and actually one of my dissertations was on stress management. And the reason that topics are there, you have to de-stress for success. When you say that, you have to maintain a balance. If you are overstressed and burned out, you're really not good to not only for yourself, but you're not good to anyone else. And to de-stress, it doesn't mean that we don't have any stress, because all of us have a certain amount, and we need a certain amount of stress to move on. But some of us overstress ourselves. Let me give you an example. All the moms out there want their kids, every child, to get a trophy for soccer, Girl Scout, Boy Scout, choir practice, all these things. And I found myself in that position when my kids were little. I was stressed out. So if you were stressed out carrying them to T-ball, Girl Scout, Boy Scout, choir rehearsal, the Easter play, the Christmas play, all that kind of stuff, if you are tired and stressed out, just think on the level of stress that you're putting on your kids. Band practice, in the concert band, the marching band, the chorus. That's a lot for young kids to go through, even high school children to go through, young adults to go through. So I tell people you have to have balance. You have to balance your life completely. You can't just all work and no play. Take vacations. And when you say take a vacation, a lot of people say, I can't afford to go and take a vacation now. Well, yes, you can. You don't have to take a vacation and go to the Bahamas or go to the islands like I like to go to all the time, which I'm getting ready to go to. You could take a vacation with your family and just go for 2 days, down the street on the beach, or 2 days in a nice hotel, where you just relax, and you don't even have to pay for the spa. You just look at people going to the spa. I've done that before. You just need to relax. You have to de-stress. You have to relax, recoup, reset your thinking. Because if you don't reset your thinking, then your thinking is going to reset you, and you'll break down.
That is an excellent statement. I like that. If you don't reset your thinking, it will reset you, and it will.
It will, and a lot of and look at our mental health. If we look in our day and age today, when we talk about mental health, a lot of our mental health, anxiety, and and a lot of soldiers that have post-traumatic stress disorder, that's a lot. They have to relax. They have to do certain things. They have to just relax, and it's nothing wrong with having anxiety or going to a psychiatrist. It's nothing wrong with going to a psychiatrist. It's nothing wrong. You're not crazy because you're going there so you don't become, for lack of a better word, crazy. If you go and go to do exercises, de-stress by doing exercises, yoga, and other exercises that you can do. But some people don't have others to talk to, or find a friend or confidant or consultant that you can talk to. They can't treat you. I can't treat you, but I can listen to you and just de-stress, But you don't want anybody to have all this toxicity in them and, like turbodynamics, just spit it out on you, and then you feel heavy and weighed down. So that's why they need to go to a professional that can handle that kind of stress. But exercise, meditation, affirmation, prayer. My outlet is prayer, affirmations. I have a book that's called Empowerment Moments, where you can read several affirmations. I have another book that I'm co-authored in that's called Daily Affirmations. In fact, we just had the 2017 release of affirmations that was released that I am a co-author in, and that's available. And read things that would relax you and reset your mind. Think positive. Shut the TV off, please. That alone could stress you out. And you have anxiety over watching the same thing over and over and over about shooting or killing or missing and getting on edge. So those are just a few tips that, I can share with you. Deep breathing exercise. Sometimes when I have a workshop, I ask people to inhale and exhale because they get so excited about the amount of content that they're getting from me. They just are excited. I say, okay, it's time to deep breathe. And most of the coaches and the consultants now, they will have someone to come in and do a short exercise after lunch where you inhale, you exhale, you breathe, you dance. You do something to relax and release some of that stress.
Would it be a fair statement that, and that this is one of the things that I do, that when we worry about things that we have no control over, of course we know that creates stress. And the things that we have control over, we worry about them without doing anything. So I created a little mantra that I tell my children all the time and people that say, well, I'm worried about this. Well, can you fix it? No, then why bother? So the things that I can't fix, I don't worry about because I can't fix them. So there's no point in my, as you say, allowing my brain to take me over if I can't fix it. If I can fix it, there's still no point worrying about it because just go out and fix it and move on to something else. Would that be a true assessment?
Well, I can't say it's true for everybody, but that might be true for you. And what's his name? I think it's Bobby McFarlane. He had that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Yes.
My thing is being happy. I try to keep a smile on my face, and I try to not, things that would trigger me 10, 15 years ago don't bother me now. And, things that used to make me cry, you get upset for no reason. If you release it, if you don't harbor it, and some people will carry a grudge for years and years and years, and that grudge takes over in their body. They start aching. They have hypertension. They age faster. They start leaning over because they have maybe extra stress on their joints or whatever. They may have something that's mild, but because they're holding a grudge and maybe they didn't sit next to somebody sat in their seat at church or the kids had a fight when they were little. They hold that grudge continuously. And one way to really decompress and to de-stress is forgive people. Forgiveness is not about the person, right or wrong. Forgiveness is a gift that you give to yourself. I always say, and most of my friends I surround myself with, they'll say the same thing. We are too blessed to be stressed.
Exactly.
We don't. Too blessed to be stressed. Don't harbor that stuff. All this stuff that's going on, you're watching TV, and you're making a decision. I'm not going to talk politics. I told you that. But I have heard that some people got divorced over this political era that we are in because a husband might have been one party and the wife was another party. I say that is absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely that was absolutely crazy if they could break the relationship that they have had for years over, a 2-year campaign.
Yeah, because the wheel's going to turn eventually again anyway. The wheel always turns.
My thing, Yvonne, I say, my trust is in God, and for anybody that's out there, I'm not trying to influence anyone, but I trust God, and I say I'm too blessed to be stressed. My purpose here in life is to spread love, peace, and joy. And that's a signature that I use most of the time. Love, peace, and joy unspeakable. I wrote a poetic journal that's about joy unspeakable when I thought I was going to be going to Iraq back in 2003. And that's a book I share and I give away to many young kids. I bless the kids with that because it's, and the kids that are growing up now, they have greater challenges. That's why we have to go out there to coach, to inspire, to teach, to advise, and mentor them at a young age so that they will know how to walk away from bullying, walk away from people that nag them, and use different strategies instead of fighting and, all this type of things that's going on. They have a lot of stress on them. The kids have a lot of pressure, and peer pressure and stress on them now. Our peer pressure that we had as a baby boomer when we were growing up was cutting class. You cut class to go swim, or getting caught, not going to class and somebody called your parents, and before you go home, your parents knew. That was our stress. Our stress was trying to get home before the street lights got turned off. Kids nowadays have to be worried if some child is going to have a gun next to them. This is all crazy. But, I still believe that prayer changes things, and I know this isn't a religious call, but that's one of the strategies that I use daily.
Well, I will tell you, if it were not for prayer and for my faith, my family and I would not have gotten through the tragedies that we've had in our lives these past few years. So I wholeheartedly agree that whatever faith one professes or one believes in or one lives, hold on to that, because in the big picture, he is the one that's in control. We really are not in control.
No, we're not. Absolutely.
So I agree with you. Faith and prayer, it covers a multitude of things. And I've found in my own personal life that you can't buy happiness, you can't marry happiness, you can't make someone else happy, no one else can make you happy, and all this goes back to stress and empowerment and all the things we've been talking about, that all of that has to come from within you.
It has to come within. The joy that I have, the world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. You have to have that within you, and you have to believe in yourself. Believe in God and believe in yourself. My 3 top things that I use as part of my other core values, I said my faith is first because I believe in God. My family is second. I try to follow the rules that the Bible, and we have all fallen short, but I try to live a debt-free life. And everybody else take a number. I love you, but everybody else take a number in that order. God first, family second, get your finances in order, and everyone else take a number.
And if your number pops up, fine. If not, I'll get to you when I can.
I love that. Can I quote you on that, Yvonne?
Absolutely, you can see that.
And if your number don't pop up, I'll get to you when I can. And a lot of people, because I used to be a people pleaser, but a lot of people. And I find myself right now, I have a wonderful, wonderful coach, and I ask that coach to stretch me. I'm not going to call his name. And I have some wonderful accountability partners. But I had a series of things planned for January and February. So our coach gave us some assignments that are stretching me. And I am doing those assignments. At the end of the month, I'm supposed to have X, Y, Z. I'm doing those assignments. But he's not probably seeing the results because some of the actions I haven't taken, and this is the year to take action. That's what I stress. The word for this year is action, taking action to move to your next level. So what I have done is I try to keep all my commitments because I like to keep my word on things that I've done, and I'm behind in some of the assignments for my coach. But I think he understands me enough to know that I will meet the deadline, which is probably the end of the month. And sometimes you have to you have to keep your schedule and not shift your schedule and let other people make their crisis your emergency. And I have done that a lot, I've done that a lot in my religious walk. Something happened, okay, I have to go, I'm a steward, and I still believe in going out there and serving, but you can't serve everybody. So sometimes you have to use that simple 2-letter word, which is N-O. Yes.
And sometimes you have to say, there's two things I tell my children. Don't make your problem my problem, because if it becomes my problem, I'll solve it. And if it isn't my monkey, it certainly is not my circus, and I'm not going to be there.
Oh, that's a lot. That's too long for me to remember, Yvonne. Yeah, don't make your crisis my emergency. That's what I say. Or your emergency my crisis,
Because what happens is we get back into that same thing of being stressed, being unhappy. And like you, I strive to be all things to all people as I was growing up and in my young years. Well, what happened is because I was all things to all people, there was nothing left for Yvonne. And
exactly.
I couldn't understand why I was walking around angry all the time.
But see, that's a generation. We were in a generation when we were, wanted to be all things to all people. We were people pleasers, until we got empowered and read all these books and learned to say no and learned to recommend. I have had, not everybody can sit on my bus. I've had to say no, and they'll say, "Oh, you turned that down?" Yes, I turned it down because I don't want to have a seat on that bus right now. And I don't want you to have a seat on my bus right now. We are not all fits for each other. And that's another thing. Before I would work, our team would work with a client or a company. We do assessments to identify that, assessments. They call them self-discovery now. I still use the term assessment. And we assess if the organization or the company is going to be a good fit based on what the results of the assessment says. Not every door that's open to you want to walk through.
That is true. That is very, very true.
That's open for you want to walk through. I see a lot of people out there doing a lot of things, but you know me, I'm in the community and I am serving. But if you are serving and you're doing what you love to do and you're not getting paid for it, there's one door that bust wide open, that will take you to your next level. And that has happened to me several times in my career. You don't follow the money. Most people out here following the money, they're pushing things on you. I have never asked one person really to buy a book, since I've been here locally. I may have put it out there, but I haven't asked. But I recently was reading a book and listening to a CD series from this ex-football player. He's very popular. His name is Walter Bond, and he says that, and this is for all of you that are out there marketing. He said that if you have a product, you should be on the phone at least 25 times a day calling someone to buy your product. I thought that was amazing. And so you figure 25 times a day, 7 days a week, 30 days, 30 days within the month, and then 365 days for the year. That is a lot of begging, but it's results because it's a habit that you develop that brings you results. I haven't tried it yet. I'm easing myself to that level, but I haven't tried that yet. I think I'll start with one or two. And then I'll work my way up there. You
can consider this show your one for the day, because we've talked about several of your books, and I've written a couple of them down because I'm going to go looking for them myself, because can only help all of us and empower all of us to read your take on things.
Uh-huh. And our signature book is Growing and Empowering Future Leader Now for Extraordinary Success. In that book, it's a tool, and, I'm revamping that book, and it's going to be, it's the Executive Toolkit, which is, right now it's at the printers. The Executive Toolkit will have a series of things on different subjects, mentoring, individual development plans, professional development plans, not only for supervisors, but for mentees and mentors as well. It's a toolkit that, it's a one-stop shop that they can use when they are growing and empowering future leaders, or they're a leader that's moving to the next level of success. And the Stepping Stones to Success is a signature book that, that it has a lot of experience in there from different people that had more time and more experience than myself. I was just blessed to be in that book with them. It's a bestseller, but it's a collaboration of authors as well. But I am going to gift you the Baby Boomers Handbook, and the first 5 people that call into the line before we hang up, and you will know who those first 5 are, and they can send us our address, or they could go to the site, and I will give them a copy of the Baby Boomers Handbook. It's over 350 pages, and it has 50 authors and speakers and coaches in that book that share their experiences and how they move from point A to point B. And in mine, I wrote about the leadership lessons that I learned from my father.
Wow.
Yeah, my father always said you have 2 hands, so you take 2 people up. And he, his financial strategy is I still use that today, but I use it in a bigger way. And he was teaching us about managing money, and we didn't know it. My parents, my dad never owned a credit card. He always believed in buying things, upfront cash. Even when he built our home, he built it, he paid for it, and he built at a little time so that he didn't have to have a large bill. When he built our new home, that's what he said. But he always said to me, you make $1, you save a dime. I didn't understand it until I got older. That's the principle of seed, time, and harvest, giving you 10% back, So that's what I try to do. I try to plant seeds in individuals, and in due time, because there has to be a season, and then the harvest will show.
And you never know where you plant those seeds, where the harvest is going to come.
Exactly. You just have to have that time. That's why it says seeds. You plant the seed. You have to have that time for the harvest to take hold and grow.
I would have loved to have met your father.
Yes, everybody knew him. In fact, they're going to honor some of his works in April in the Virgin Islands. I heard, it's our, I think they say it's our 50th or 60th anniversary. It's a big anniversary for Carnival, and I'm not sure yet. I know a couple of my siblings will be going. I haven't cleared my calendar yet for that, but I will be going to the islands before that.
Well, I don't know where this hour went, Cita. It's flying by faster than the speed of light.
But I'd like to leave these 3 takeaways that they can use, anybody can use, for themselves. I always say to get started for this year, for 2017, this is a year of action. And it's the 3 things that I want people that out there in our radius, in our land, whether you're international or wherever, is do these 3 things to get started to take action in 2017. Number 1, I want you to do a self-discovery of yourself. And I have a leadership assessment tool that's free, And all you have to do is call in to 321-985-5522 and text the word leader, LEADER, and you get that absolutely free. And that you could see where you at as a leader or as a follower. It's a short assessment, 2-page tool. And so you do a self-discovery, and there are a lot of tools out there that you can use. You can Google self-assessment inventory. And then if you think you need some help, feel free to call us. Go to our website, www.empowermentdoc, that's EMPOWERMENTDOC.com. And number one, you do that self-discovery, and the self-discovery is to see what you think your calling or your purpose or your niche is. And then that will help you determine if you need a mentor, a consultant, a coach, or if you need a sponsor. But before you get a sponsor, you need to have some sort of mentorship. Second, I want you to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Go to conferences, get a coach, get a consultant. It doesn't have to be me. Just get one that you know you have a fit with. Call me. I can help you. I can refer you out. And when you invest in yourself, you find the methodology or the strategies that fit you to move to your next level. What tools you need, how long a time, that period that you need. I say that you don't need 2 years for you to determine where you need to go. Some coaches may need 2 years to get you to that point. I go based on what the assessment results come back with, and that's how I determine how long I would be able to, or my team rather, would be able to consult with you. And then I say, when in all you're getting, get understanding, but I want you to be a giver. All of us need to be giver. We need to give back. And I tell people, they always say, we're not Oprah. No, you're not Oprah. And thank God, because you would be selfish. And God bless Oprah with what she has. That's why she's a bigger, and that's why she's giving. I say give at your level. My dad used to say, you make that dollar, you save a dime, but you give away a dime. So be a blessing to others. Help others to become successful. I'm a boomer, and I'm helping others now. I've been retired twice. I love to travel. I love people, and I love sharing information. But my kids got to eat, too. That's what I like to tell people. My kids got to eat, too. My family have to eat, okay?
And if it's all given away for free, it's not half as appreciated. And this is what I used to tell the children: if you don't work for it or you don't pay for it,
don't
you can't
work for it. You have to do the work if you want to be a coach, a speaker, if you want to have that C-suite. You're not just going to wake up and graduate from college and go to the C-suite. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to work for it. In fact, I use that quote a lot on my Facebook page. I said, you got to do the work. We have to do the work. Sometimes we don't want to do the work, but there may be a period, that, hey, I don't really want to do that work right now, but I know if I want to get stretched and get from point A to point B, I have to do the work. And right there, that sentence, I'm talking to myself now. I have to do the work for my coach, and I will do that work. So just use this, you can't get everything in 1 hour, but I hope I left something with you, to empower you to get started. If I don't make New Year's resolutions anymore. We always say we're going to lose 10 pounds on the first day of the year, but by the time you reach to the 7th day or day 14, you say, I ain't doing that now. Just take. Like, how do you eat an elephant? You take small bites and then reward yourself every time you become a little successful in something you do. Reward yourself. Go out there, get a milkshake, but do something that makes you feel good. You take care of yourself.
Well, tell the folks where you can be found on Facebook, and you gave them the website, but give it to them again so they
Yes.
can go and get that information and get in contact with you.
Well, they can go. I'm on Facebook as the Empowerment Doc CMG or Amicitia. That's AMICITIA, and my whole name Maloon MALOON Gibson. I'm on Google Plus as the same Amicitia Maloon Gibson. I am on Twitter as Amicitia Maloon Gibson. I'm on LinkedIn as Amicitia Maloon Gibson, and then on Facebook. I have the Leadership Academy. We have a Leadership Academy with 6 modules, and each module has 4 to 6 sub-courses in it. It's a total of 25 videos that they can do an online leadership certification, and then they follow up with a 1-day boot camp, and that's Inspire, Lead, Grow. Just look for Inspire, Lead, Grow on Facebook, and that's our Facebook page or Inspire, Lead, Grow Academy. And that's You can go to www.empowerment.doc and opt in. That's DOC, not DR, just DOC. And you can also go to Cita Gibson. It's the same link. CitaGibson.com.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, if you haven't learned anything from this very fast hour that we have flown through, then I don't know what to tell you. Because I've learned things myself. First of all, I learned that I really am okay the way I am. And I happen to like me the way I am, and I'm okay the way I am. And so that's our foundation to grow with. That would be the foundation to start the empowerment with. Go to Cita's site. Learn how to empower yourself in your relationships, in your jobs, in your businesses, in your careers, in your passions, and in your dreams, ladies and gentlemen, in your dreams. Because we all have them, and you empower yourself to make those dreams happen. Cita, would that be a fair statement?
That's a fair statement, and I like to tell people, dream big. If you can fulfill your dream by yourself, then you're not dreaming big enough. Dream big and dream bigger. Just take action. You may not get it accomplished in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, but keep dreaming big, and eventually it will come true. Speak positive things into your life. Sometimes you got to encourage yourself. So positive affirmations daily. And I begin mine with prayer. Prayer changes things. And powerful positive affirmations. Repeat them over and over. Think positive. Turn the TV off, Easter is coming up, Lenten. Give up the TV or give up ice cream. I would give up the TV before ice cream.
So, ladies and gentlemen, before we leave, tomorrow night, author Lyle O'Connor will be here. Cita, thank you so much for being on the show, and I want to bring you back.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you so much. And I will send you a note after. Thank you to all of you that tuned in. We didn't get time to get any questions. I didn't get any on my end. But, be empowered.
We'll do it next time. We will do it next time. We'll have a call-in show next time. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I leave this show, and Cita, don't hang up when the show cuts off because we'll talk for just a minute, if you will. But, ladies and gentlemen, as we leave this show, and as I tell you every night at the end of my show, like yourself first, love yourself second, accept yourself, warts and all, be good to yourself, and be good to those around you. And as Cita says, be a giver, but give to yourself first. So until tomorrow night with Lyle O'Connor, this is Yvonne Mason with Off the Chain. And with that, we say good night.
Good night.
Cita, thank you so much, my friend. I don't know where the hour went.
I know it went by fast. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you. It was beautiful. It was off the chain with you.
It was off, and it was uplifting. I feel good. You feel good. I know our audience feel good. And what if you will be so kind and afford me another hour of your busy life, which I so appreciate.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just let me know when. I want to say March is a good time because that's Women's History Month. I like to be like in the beginning part of March, and we could talk about anything. Especially I have a new book coming out. That talks about military women, but that's Women's History Month. We celebrate that in March. Or next month if you want to. You plan way out, girl. You got it. You probably way down in December now.
Well, actually, I'm booking shows in April now.
Yeah, that's what I said. You probably way in December. Well, just whenever you need me, just let me. Just call me.
Well,
just send me a date.
Let me ask you this, my friend. When is your book coming out?
It's going to be out before March. I have a new book. It's an empowerment book that we just finished, and it's at the printers. So we should have it by, I would say, within the next 3 to 4 weeks.
I think I have an opening on a Saturday night in March. I think I have one Saturday night in March open. Would that be okay?
Shoot it to me and just let me know. As long as it's not past, 9 o'clock, I'm in bed, really.
That's why I do my shows at 8 o'clock. I'm usually in bed.
Want me to come on at 9. I said, man, you need to find somebody else or let me know so I could change my sleep habits,
I understand. Because I've got a friend of mine.
She likes to do conference calls at 9 till 11 o'clock. I told him I'm going to listen to the recording.
Well, see, I have a friend of mine that wants me to come on his show on a Friday night at 11.
Everybody.
Huh? I have a friend of mine that wants me to come on his show at 11 o'clock on a Friday night. I said, man, I'm in bed by then.
You're making snores by then, I'm sure. Yeah, but my coach, he likes us to be he's in Dallas now. So when he comes on at 9, that's 8 o'clock his time, and I tell him it's too late. So now what he does, he said, I know some of you in bed, and I used to have him a mute. He said, we're using Zoom. So Zoom, you're on the screen so everybody can see everybody else. I said, that's not going to happen with me. That's not going to happen.
Well, let me see if I've got if that day is open. I do believe I have one Saturday night that is open in March. That will still get us in the Women's History Month and get your book.
Good. Just send it to me, and I'll look at my calendar and see if I'm available. That even if I'm out of town, it's easy. I could call in from a landline.
Absolutely.
As long as I'm not in the islands, because in the islands, everything is, roams. Yeah, it's on Rome,
Well, let me get off from here and get this show archived and get it tagged to you and get it downloaded.
No, you have to do all that yourself. That's why I don't have a blog talk radio. I have empowerment. I have an empowerment voice, and I usually do 2 Saturdays. I haven't done it for the year yet. I'm starting February. I do it every other Saturday, but I use free conference call. Yeah, but the blog talk radio is good because it's you get to put your search out there.
Absolutely.
And I got a whole lot of people in the Department of Defense. I am sure if I'm going to send it to them, they'll like that.
And because I have all these other podcasts, I put it up on these podcasts, so I'm reaching an audience that most people don't. I'm reaching people, reaching countries I've never even heard of.
That's good, too. That's good. Yeah, Cita said the same thing, Cita. She always want me on there. I said, girl, But I'll probably go on. Yeah, I host it when she's out of town with Ellen. I co-host with Ellen. Yeah,
well, I'm going to do her show next month. I'm going up and doing a show with her next month, so I'll give her a hug from you.
That's good. I hope I meet you in person one day soon. Do you ever come to the Women of Excellence? That was this week. You're in Fort Pierce. Well, when you're coming up here, give me a call. I'll send you coming up here. Maybe both of us could be on at the same time. I'll tell Cita.
Okay. I'll send you the day I'm going up. It's in February. I think it's the 28th. I'll check when I get back in my other office and look at my book, and I'll send you the date I'm going to be on.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne, girl. You really off the chain. I'm going to have to give you a shout out on Facebook. Yvonne Mason is off the chain. You need to get on her show.
Thank you, darling. Yes, spread the word. I love it.
Yes. Okay, good night. God bless you. And thank you again for the opportunity and sharing your story with me, too.
You're welcome, my dear, and thank you. And I'll get all this to you just as quick as I can.
Yeah, take your time. Ain't no rush, Thank you.
All right, darling. Good night.
Good night.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from Geico.
It's a common expression, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, what if the horse's mouth is filled with useful insurance tools? This is the exact case with the Geico app. Yes, the app is free and therefore a gift horse. However, look inside the app and behold, emergency roadside assistance, digital ID cards, bill pay. Get the Geico app. Look it in the mouth, get amazing services. Thank you.